we go. Just got my voice on the stream. Hey everybody. Happy New Year. It's 2025. It is New Year's Day, and since I committed to doing a live demo every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UTC, is no exception. So New Year's Day is included in that promise, in that commitment. And today we're going to focus on platform analytics. So just to be clear, we've only got 60 minutes or 59 minutes. So when I talk about platform analytics, I'm going to focus on all of the stuff that's not related to performance analytics. So I'm not going to be configuring any indicators or jobs and calculations and stuff like that. We're going to focus on what I really like and enjoy is the data visualizations and what we used to call reporting in ServiceNow. For those of you that may or may not be familiar, let me see if I can adjust the screen behind me there real quick. Let's see, stop sharing that. And hey, Kevin, welcome to the stream. Happy New Year. Glad to have you. I am trying to adjust my screen. There we go. I'm just going to pull that down a little bit to fits my. There we go. I think I got that. Okay. So yeah. So for those of you, Kevin and others that may be familiar, with the Xanadu release, they've officially announced deprecation of the legacy reporting in ServiceNow. And so there's a lot of effort for people to move over their existing reports, their existing dashboards, and migrate them to platform analytics. So in this demo, I'm going to cover not migrating. I'm not going to do that. I'm not brave enough to do that live. I'm going to focus on, what do we do now to create reports? How easy, how difficult is it? Yeah, definitely glad to have you, Kevin. Glad to have somebody in the chat room interacting with me. So appreciate it. It's strange. I can see you typing or not typing. I can see your post, but it shows that there's no viewers on the stream in LinkedIn, which is it's okay. I'm not here for the views. So I'm glad to have you. Thank you so much. But yeah, the focus on platform analytics and specifically replacing that functionality that's gone, right? So what if you were to come in brand new to ServiceNow, you're not even going to know about reporting as it used to be because new instances of ServiceNow are not going to have the legacy reporting available. It's just going to be platform analytics going forward for everybody else. So that's what I wanted to cover in the live demo. Happy to answer questions as we go along. If you see me keep looking to my right, that's where I've got YouTube and LinkedIn chats over to the right. I'm pointing to the left, but it's actually it's this direction, but my video is flipped, so it's on my right. So you'll see me looking at the left, I guess, to respond to stuff. But we'll go ahead and get started. And I wanted to get started by. Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, that is odd, Kevin. I'm glad there's two people watching. That's awesome. Because I can actually show you. Can I show you this? It might get a little trippy here if I show you like what it looks like on LinkedIn. But notice it's showing no viewers, and that's what I'm looking at. So, but no, I'm glad, Kevin, you've added a comment, so I actually know I'm talking to somebody. And it'd be okay if I wasn't talking to anybody. This is good practice for me. Get the reps in. So thank you guys. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, other person, for watching. We'll try to make this interesting and interactive. So if you, as we're moving through platform analytics, if you have a suggestion or you see me stumble or say something incorrectly, please let me know. Happy to correct and or take a different course than I was planning on. So what I was going to start with is platform analytics there used to be a workspace for platform analytics. We used to get there this way. They've moved all that into the all menu, and now we have an analytics center where we can come in and see what dashboards we have, what yeah, I don't want to. Last time, Kevin, I refreshed during the stream. LinkedIn freaked out on me. What's funny about LinkedIn streaming is they generate the URL and the passcodes like right as you prepare for the live stream. And when I refreshed the last time, it reset all of those. So I had to like stop streaming using the service I use and then generate a new URL and new passkey and do all that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to just stick with. I can see your comments, and that's great. So that's all I need to have the interaction. I'm gonna look and see. Yeah, the comments aren't coming through to my streaming software, but that's okay. I can still see it because I got you guys up. Yeah, yeah, definitely don't want to. I learned that lesson. This is my fourth live stream, so I've learned that lesson to not do that. The other lesson I learned was to keep the mic muted while I have the music running in the beginning because you can hear everything if I don't have the mic muted. So, all right. Um, Yeah, so I clicked on Platform Analytics Center. This is like the home page for Platform Analytics. This is where you get to. And I'm going to cover a couple of different things here. One is you've got the concept of what we used to call reports are now called data visualizations, which you can see there on the bottom. I've got data visualizations. I don't have any bookmarked. I could have bookmarked some before planning to do the demo, but I'd rather you see it like it's going to look for you if you've come into a brand new instance or you're in your PDI. But you can add these visualizations down here, data visualizations, and you can put them on dashboards. And then you can take those dashboards and you can add them to pages that are in workspaces. And that's what I'm a big fan of. So let me show you what I actually use. I'm going to switch to my instance, which is on another screen. We'll pull it over here and I'll get rid of Bob's house. I was playing around earlier. So for me, for Justin's house, I manage all the content and everything through my PDI. I've mentioned that several times on the channel. And so I make great use of the platform analytics within my workspace called Justin's House. And so you can see here, I've got a couple different tabs. One is about, what's going on for my content and streaming. What am I actually working on? If Jace cops on, I monitor Jace's news.jace.pro and I pull it into my PDI and I monitor what I've reviewed and not reviewed. For the release management, you can see there different visualizations around this particular one's for Xanadu. For my ServiceNow store highlights episode, I actually use this during the episode. So again, these are data visualizations. I'm actually working on something down here. That's going to be a surprise. YouTube, my WordPress blog, stuff like that. Google alerts that come through for anything ServiceNow related. I treat that just like news.js.pro and I monitor all that. But all of this is platform analytics. And it's all, it can look just like what you're used to with reporting, but it's a bit faster, it's a bit more performant, and there's actually uh, feature parity is what I'm thinking of. The legacy stuff, there's not even feature parity. There's more features now in platform analytics data visualizations. And I am using a PDI. Let's see, Kevin said, I'm behind on Kevin's comments. LOL. Kevin, what's after your name? I can't even read that. It looks like a different language. I'm gonna just move. I'm gonna try the comment thing. I try this every time live and it doesn't work. But let me try this. Copy and put this over here. Paste. I got a couple different screens going on, and I want you to see what Kevin's asking if it'll work this time. Where is? I want to be on right, and then highlight the comments. Oh, this is cool. So it's actually letting me move it without you guys seeing it. I like that. But it's still not still not doing the word wrapping for my comments. Is there a way to get to the properties? Yeah, I can't do the properties while I'm streaming. Okay. That's okay. So Kevin asks or said they are changing the way reporting works. This makes sense why there has not been much improvement to the reporting engine for a while. Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right. There hasn't been. It's been pretty much baked for a while. I am using a PDI. I have two PDIs I'm using. One is my main PDI, which is what's showing on the screen now. This again is where I'm processing all of my stuff, and no, I don't pay for it. So yeah, Kevin, if anything were to happen to my PDI, I have to rebuild it. So I've got a whole backup routine that I do for my PDI, which includes my data visualizations. So all of the data visualizations, this is a good segue. Great question to team me up. All of your data visualizations are scoped, right? So if I add a data visualization, it's going to put it in an application scope. Most of the time, you're going to be in global scope. But for me, I'm in my Justin's House application scope. So when I back up my application to GitHub, it's backing up all my data visualizations, right? So when I sync that, and if I pull it back down to a new PDI, I'd have all my data visualizations back. So um, free Palestine. Okay, cool. I didn't recognize that. That's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. Almost looks I didn't know it was actual words, but it almost looks like what do you call that? That people do with pens, calligraphy. It almost has that kind of touch to it. So very, very nice. So yes, I do use my PDI. I can't afford my own instance at the moment. I need more likes and subscribes to afford the minimum annual contract value for PDI, but it's on my list of things one day. Justin's house will have its own instance one day, I'm sure. Um, so yeah, that's this is what I do with platform analytics. And now I want to show you what ServiceNow does with platform analytics. And I can stay in here. I'm in my main PDI, so I'll just switch to Asset Workspace, and I want to talk through a couple of things, and we'll head back to the Analytics Center in a second here. But I wanted to emphasize that ServiceNow is doing the same thing that I'm doing with my workspace. We won't talk about these cards. That's actually not performance analytics. But here's some single score indicators at the top with some links to actual different dashboards. So it's going to just go to a different page within the workspace. And again, these are data visualizations. So single scores here. We've got a donut chart, two donut charts, and then some vertical bar charts down below. So these are all data visualizations. ServiceNow is drinking their own Kool-Aid, and that's what they look like in this particular asset workspace. So back to platform analytics. When you go to the Analytics Center, you can they've got this natural language query where you can ask a question. I don't think I have this actually turned on in this PDI, but we'll say incidents caused by change and ask what that looks like. And it should go find, in this case, it's an indicator. And I said I wasn't going to show indicators, and this is why I wasn't going to show indicators, but you can see none of my indicators are running in this PDI. But let's see incidents um, by group for 2024, since 2024 is behind us. So I didn't click on anything pre-canned. And what this analytics ask a question about your data thing is it's supposed to understand what you're asking and then go create a data visualization on the fly for you. Now it's asking to clarify, like he thinks I'm talking about incident, but did you mean group or did you mean CMDB CI group? I did mean incident, but it picked up on that word group, I guess, in my description, and I didn't think it was going to work. But it's good for you to see it fail. I don't have a what do you say? I didn't turn on the natural language query and the jobs and all that stuff before planning on doing platform analytics because I didn't want to really get into all that stuff. So yeah, the dreaded no data found. Let's see. Kevin, you're on your own too. Yeah, I went independent, Kevin, back in September. So I'm in a kind of same situation. Uh, Starting an own ServiceNow company where you can perform. Yeah, same here. I'm actually taking that path. I'm on that journey. I have my own company. It's same thing. I plan on doing independent contracting and really focusing on the YouTube content. And hey, Jerry, welcome to the stream. Appreciate having you. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year to all that are watching. Can't believe 2025 is here. I'm glad to have 2024 behind me. It was a crazy 2024, and I was just responding, Jerry, to Kevin's comment there about um, working working independently, and that's actually what I chose to do back in September. So yeah, Kevin, we're kind of in the same boat. And that's where I now have the time and the commitment to make to doing a live stream and demoing stuff every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UTC, in case you didn't know. But we are in Platform Analytics Center, and we're going to actually get started making some reports. But I did just covered my own workspace where I do that. And before we get start, go down the path of creating ad hoc visualizations, I was curious when they announced in Xanadu that legacy reporting was gone, what that meant for that intuitive use of the right click functionality. So if I go to any um, column header and click that vertical ellipsis, I'd be able to generate a bar chart, a pie chart. I loved showing that to new customers or people who hadn't seen ServiceNow before, because a lot of different systems, it's difficult to get to reporting. Sometimes you got to go to a completely different system on some applications to do reporting. And ServiceNow's always done a really good job of making that intuitive in platform, and so you don't have to go somewhere else. So the old way of creating a report, the easy way was just to come in here find a column that you were interested in and say, hey, I want a, a bar chart, and it would go generate a bar chart. So what's happening now in Xanadu is that it is doing the same thing, but it's bringing you into, you can see it there at the top, platform analytics. So we're not even in the old reporting system anymore. And then I have all the options on the right that we're gonna walk through all those separately. But I did want to show you can still get there the same way. So, oh, Kevin, you should definitely uh, pull the trigger on the live streaming if you've been thinking about it, because it's just I kept putting it off, and saying I needed to research and do everything, and finally 4 weeks ago I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the live stream, and we're just gonna see what happens. And if something breaks, then everybody can make fun of me, so it's fine. And actually, the first one didn't go great. It was okay, but it got a little bit better. And then hopefully, I'll start doing some more cool stuff. I have some sounds and music and stuff like that, which I'm not really using at the moment, except in the pre-live stream and the post-live stream. But Kevin, if you want to chat or have questions, I'm happy to share what I know and what I'm using to do all this. So that's cool that you're thinking about that. So again, showing that we could be looking at in the legacy UI a list of records and do something with it. Unfortunately, if you go to a workspace, it's not the same experience. So I can't go to priority and generate a report from a workspace. That would have been nice. That would have been good feature parity to me, because having to jump back into this old, interface here and then get to your reporting, and then we'll do a bar chart again, and then adding this to a dashboard, right? Let's give this a better name. We'll just change this here to something else. Demo for live stream, and we'll just copy that into the description here. And then I'm going to save. So once this data visualization is saved, then I can add it to, wait, it just went away. Save again. Oh, do you stream too, Jerry? Yeah, I'd definitely be down for a streaming meetup, because there's lots of little nuances to streaming that you don't realize until you start doing it. One is that there's a delay between me talking and you guys posting questions. There's some settings that lets me decrease that delay, but I'm afraid to, because I want the stream to be not jittery or like buffering and stuff like that. So I left the settings alone. So yeah, I would definitely be down for a meetup on that for sure. Um, so this one, I don't know why it's not letting me put it on a dashboard, but this button should light up and then I can add it to a dashboard. I'm not sure why it's being weird. It lit up for a second there, but that's not how I wanted to show you guys this anyways. But that's what's counterintuitive to me, to go to the legacy UI, right click or left click the ellipsis, generate a report, and then add it to a dashboard that might go into a workspace. So I just think it's kind of weird. So let's head back over to platform analytics menu here, and I'm going to go straight to dashboards. And you can see this particular instance is relatively new. I actually created this instance just for the live demos, and out of the box with what I have installed, there's 114 dashboards. It's nuts. Oh yeah, Jerry, Twitch. Jerry said I used to stream on Twitch. I'm gonna add Twitch eventually. I was just trying to get my streaming muscles going before I introduced a third platform, because it's kind of hard to just like pay attention to YouTube, to LinkedIn, and be interactive like I want to be. And Twitch, I used to be a big consumer of Twitch for during the pandemic. A bunch of DJs would do live streams since they couldn't go out and DJ, and so I would put that on at work and just stream Twitch from my office, as background music, and they were interactive too. So yeah, I know I do want to add Twitch to the repertoire. But what I've got up here is all the different dashboards, and you can click through and go visit some, to get some ideas and do different stuff. But it's a really clean, I haven't seen this one before, a clean and well governed experience. These are performance analytics widgets, which I said I wasn't going to cover in the stream. I could tell because of the trending and the graphs there about that particular metric. So uh, I'll probably save performance analytics for a future live stream, but I can move to my different dashboards. Um, I was showing content operations in a video actually this week. If you're using the Employee Center application, this is a dashboard in platform analytics, and we've got a couple of widgets here. So for that one. So let's head to probably the biggest meat of this is the data visualizations piece. And I want to start talking about this with the left-hand side here kind of talking through conceptually what is actually different. So if you remember with the previous reporting, I could do like I showed you. I could go to an incident list, create a pie chart, add it to a dashboard, but not, and I could put filters on it, right? So I could, tweak the settings and date ranges and stuff like that. And let's say I did that. Let's, you know what? I'm talking and not actually showing you guys. Let me just do something real quick. I think this will get my point across of why I think platform analytics is a game changer now that they're moving to it. So let's pretend I'm just a regular user. I go in, I say I want to create a pie chart for all the incidents by priority. I do all this stuff here. And for the filter, I'm going to let it load here. It's still loading here on the right hand side. I'll just wait for a second. So I'm going to go move my head. Um, Let me move my head. My button to move my head didn't work. Let's try that again. Let me get out of studio mode here and turn that comment off. Now, there we go. Okay. So if I was to come in here, remember, I'm pretending to be a regular user, and I was like, hey, I made this report, but I want to add some filters on this to maybe filter who the caller is. So it does caller, and maybe I want to look at that caller's department and kind of change it, right? So I want to say, show me all the incidents where customer success and run that filter. Let's see if I have anything. Zero, right? And I apply that, and now I have a bar chart with Kevin. There it is again, no data available, but I did that on purpose. But now, because I'm a regular user, I just want to say, oh yeah, that's for my department. So I'm going to change the name of this report to open incidents and save that. Now I've created a report with open incidents, and I can add this to a dashboard, just not in this particular instance for some reason. And now everybody think that there's no incidents, no open incidents, because I call my report open incidents, and I put that on my dashboard. But when someone sees this on their dashboard, they may not necessarily be seeing the filter of it. So with the data visualizations as they work in platform analytics, let me get back there. Ooh, let me change that to analytics. If I get back there, now I can see this concept of certified data visualizations. And this is important to me because when we're creating reports about anything, any system, any process, or whatever, people need to be able to trust the reports that they're seeing and they're viewing. So introducing this certification of data visualizations is kind of like a trust score, or a branded way of saying like, hey, this has been vetted, this report is what it says it is. It's not Justin's incident bar chart where he went and added a filter for department. It really is all the open incidents in the platform. And so the concept of having certified data visualizations was really important to me, and I was glad to see that feature get added. um, let's see, I've got a couple of comments to catch up on. Jerry said he's been streaming and also recorded YouTube videos. He used to stream on Twitch, is what he's saying in the comments there. Kevin saying I've not streamed on a platform yet. I've joined other streams a few times. Um, Jerry, happy to share with you, Kevin, on my own experience in streaming. And Kevin, thanks on this. So I'm working on a way to figure out how to get the comments to show on the screen. You kind of saw it there, and I keep every time I live stream, I say I'm going to fix it, and I always forget to fix it. And the problem is that the comments are there; they're just not wrapping, so they're showing up like this, and they're not really easy to see. But it should be an easy fix to do that. So I'll get better about reading the comments. So I was just making the point there about certifying these data visualizations. I think that's really important, that there's the ability to certify. And the way you do that is when you're configuring it and you're editing it, there's an option down here on the bottom for, actually it's not here, it's in the information here, to actually certify it. And it's not going to let me do it. Let's switch to global scope here, just so you can see. Come on, here we go. Global scope, reload. Oh, I picked the wrong one. That wasn't global scope. Asset management. Was it workspace? I didn't. I'll reload. I think it was workspace. Yeah, yeah. So there's a toggle, I guess you call it here, for marking it as certified. Would be the process there to certify data visualization. Now you can imagine it's ServiceNow, so you could probably have a business rule or a flow or something that maybe that sends an approval to your ServiceNow team or your reporting team or something. Lots of potential governance you could do around reporting, and then reporting is very important. So I really like that that's a feature. So enough about that. Let's go back to the data visualizations. I should be able to just go back. That menu always messes up on me. No, I can't just go back. I guess we'll wait for the menu to load. I don't know. I was complaining about this in my last live stream, and Jace, he said he put a URL in the comments, but this happens to me a lot. I don't know if it happens to you guys. It drives me nuts where you're just sitting here, and I'm gonna just try refreshing the page and see if it comes back. Yeah, there it is. And this is a pretty fresh PDI, so I haven't done a lot of stuff to it, so I don't know why that happens to me every once in a while, but okay. So I've harped about certifications, and let's just get to it and start talking about all these different data visualizations. So there's two ways to start. Number one, in the middle, is to start with your data itself, right? Like when I went to the incident table and click the ellipsis to make a report, that's one way to do it. Just get started and then work on what the visualization will be. Or on the right hand side, you can see there, let's start with what the visualization is, and then we'll add a data source to that. So let's talk through these real quick. Single score. These are your KPIs that you see on a lot of those dashboards. You've got dials and gauges on your time series. You've got area charts, columns, lines, scatter, spline. If you go to the ServiceNow documentation, there's an explanation for a lot of those visualizations. So if I look, let's see, data sources, overview of data visualization types, it'll explain what all these visualizations are and how they're meant to be used, right? So if you're just wondering, like, what should I choose, that might be a good guide there for you. Horizontal, vertical, and Pareto bar charts, pies, donuts, pies, and semi-donuts, if you're hungry. Some multi-dimensional stuff. I hope we have time to get to some of those. And then some other like calendars. Indicators would be the performance analytics, simple lists, box plots, and geomaps. So Jerry's confirmed, or Jerry, actually, I've got two here from you. He says, that's a good feature as many people can create reports and do not know which reports are authentic. Yes, it's exactly my point, is the fact that there could be multiple, I'm highlighting it like you guys can see it, that there could be, someone could create a report and share it, and then it's actually inaccurate. And then who gets blamed? It would be not the person who created the report, it would be the ServiceNow team. Why would you let there be a report out there that's not accurate? So yeah. Jerry also said, I also get that issue and not sure if it's a connection lag. I don't think it is, Jerry, a connection lag. I think there's, this I'm coming from some stuff Jace told me, there's some caching going on. And I think he told me is either one of two things. I needed to set a setting to not use the cache or set a setting to make it use the cache. It was one way or the other. I can't remember which. And he thought that would clear it up. But for some reason too, the last live stream, I can't get to the comments for some reason. So, all right. So those are the different data visualizations, and let's just go for it. So let's start with a single score. This is what it would look like. This is not how I typically do it, but I wanted to start this way, and then I'll show you how I typically do it. So creating a data visualization on its own, I can set the single score, I can set the header to show a title. So let's just say open incidents. We'll stick with that example. Like we didn't go to the incident list to actually do it. So there's my title that shows up. I can, if it's long, so if I had like lots of text there, let's just do it. Put a bunch of text in there. It'll wrap the text. I actually don't remember that feature, but wrap title. I gotta add some more in there, space. It's just making it bigger. Again, this is not the way I normally do it. Normally I'm on a dashboard and I create my visualization or added one to it. So we'll save the wrap title for later. Show the border or not, some visualization. There's lots of customization or tailoring of how these data visualizations actually appear. Borders could be one of them. And then data is important. So I want to add a data source. I love this suggested stuff because it's like ServiceNow knows what you touched the last time or what you might be interested in. I've had it surprise me with a couple of things, but you can use the suggestions. You can go through all the tables in the system. And then if you're using performance analytics, you can look at some indicators. And then I am not a fan of the user experience analytics, so I'm not even going to touch that. We're going to stick with our incident example. I'll pull up all the incidents. There is this is all of them. So I haven't put a filter on. So I said on my title there was going to be an open one. So let's just go grab the state is one of, and then we can pick multiple things. So we'll just say new, in progress, on hold, and resolved and closed and canceled or not open. So that looks good to me. I'll go ahead. You can preview it. So if you scroll down here and just run it, and now I can see there's 56 and see how that worked. And I'll just add that data source to my data visualization. And now it shows up there. So I've got 56 open incidents. Some other things I can do, I can change what the actual metric is for the single score. Right now it's doing a count, but I could change this to a sum or average or a count distinct, and then a min and max. So lots of options there. And then if I was to change this, like if we were to do a sum, I could say, well, what am I summing? What's the value that I'm aggregating there? And I could pick that. So those fields are interactive there. But we're going to leave this as a count just for simplicity here. And then I'll walk through the rest here. Additional settings, we can show a label for incident if we want. Last time the score was updated, or the relative, like that. So this would be a specific time for this one right here, or the relative, is today. And then the show zero would be the, like Kevin, like we were talking about earlier, if we want to get rid of that no data available, we can use this show zero to not to show a zero and not have that no data available. Data update options, whether it follows filters or not. Hopefully we get to play around with some filters here in a minute. Whether or not to show the filter icon, which I'll point out when we get to some other ones. And then when to automatically refresh it after 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or keep it real time. And then when you do it real time, you get the real time indicator there that is strangely similar to the live stream symbol that I'm using to do this live stream. Presentation wise, there's some display settings, the score, whether automatically. This is actually a new feature in Xanadu for it to auto size it. That wasn't, it didn't exist before. Or we can say, yep, I know what I want. We're just going to make this large, extra large, XXL, stuff like that. Yes, Kevin, you would need to. So Kevin asked, sorry, still getting better at this streaming thing. Kevin asked, I do not see performance analytics on my filter navigator menu. Do I need to install it in order to use this? Um, it should be, well, there's platform analytics, Kevin, should be there by default. So if you're searching for performance analytics, that might not be there by default. But the performance analytics stuff has been moved into the platform analytics menuing. So if I go, is my head in the way? Let me get my head out of the way. I can see here running indicators and stuff like that. That's all moved into there. So the performance analytics menuing has gone away, and it's just platform analytics. You may not see some of these if performance analytics isn't installed, but platform analytics should definitely be installed. Let me know, Kevin, if you're seeing something different. I have another. No, I don't. I created a PDI yesterday and then I released it. I was gonna say I could spin up one really quick just to see if you search for platform analytics instead, Kevin, see if that helps you there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's what he said. All right. Okay. Let's move my head again out of the way. We'll just cover the rest of these settings. And now these settings are going to vary for each type of data visualization that you select. So I can select different colors, which Justin is not going to mess around with because I'm not good at colors. But you've got complete control over the color scheme, stuff like that. I'm more of a black and white guy since I'm not good at colors or default. I leave things at default. And then the chart interaction, you can specify whether people can click on the actual visualization. So by default, that's usually on, and then it'll go to a list view, or you could change it to go somewhere else. Go to a URL or go to a specific page in a workspace, and then drill down to chart. Oh yeah, you could make another chart and have it drill down into there. So we'll leave that set to go to data view, but that's it. That's how easy it is to create a data visualization. We'll just save this as open incidents, and now that's saved. And let me finally, this button's working. Look, it went. That's so interesting. It went gray right after I touched it, but luckily I still have it up. And let's see if we can add it to a new dashboard. Leave, sure. There we go. Okay, that actually works. So let's go ahead and name this dashboard here. We'll just name this live stream demo. And now we're getting into how I typically create my data visualizations. Um, ah, so this is another feature of performance analytics that I love because it makes it so simple, and it makes it to where you can repurpose other people's reports really easily. So it's asking me to, when I hit save, do I want to save the changes to my data visualization only for this dashboard, or save it back to the data visualization library, which would update any dashboard that's using that data visualizations. I'm going to state that a different way to make sure that's clear. I can have a data visualization that we just created, and I can put it on one or more dashboards. So when I make a change, in this case, I'm on a dashboard to a data visualization, it's prompting me, do you want to save that change you just made for this dashboard, or do you want to save it back to the data visualization library? So I think that's really cool that it's smart enough to let you have something unique in your dashboard if you want to. Philip's here. Holy crap, I've got a celebrity. Hey, Phil. Nice to have you on the live stream. He's a celebrity to me because when I first started my YouTube stuff, there was something, Phil, that you and I talked about. Can I call you Phil? And so, yeah, you're kind of like a ServiceNow celebrity in Justin's head. And Phil's really smart too. He posts some good content. So just I was making a distinction about data visualizations kind of existing on their own, but when you add them to dashboards, you can tweak them and not necessarily mess up the data visualization in the library. You can save it unique to that dashboard that you're actually looking at. So, oh yeah, Happy New Year! Thank you, Jerry, for mentioning that. It is a new year. Phil, you've probably been well into your New Year's Day because I think you're that direction compared to me. You're right of me, which means New Year's came sooner for you. So yeah, glad to have you guys on the stream. Appreciate it. So that getting back to how I create data visualizations, this is more like what I do. So I'm actually going to show you in my instance. So if I were to go to my workspace that I actually use, and let's take SSH for example, if I was wanting to show you something, I come up and click the edit button, and then I add a new element and I choose data visualizations. That's the kind of process that I use when I'm working through these. I don't create the data visualizations on their own like we just did, and then add them to a dashboard. That's not been the way I've used it since platform analytics came out. I usually have a dashboard like you're seeing on the screen here, and I come in, hit the edit button, and start tweaking it, start changing it. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'll point out that you just saw this on my dashboard. You can have multiple tabs on your dashboard. I hate when you're editing, you kind of lose this space here at the top. It will go away when you actually get out of editing mode. But I can give these new tabs or these tabs different names. So let's go ahead and call this tab 1, be really creative, and call this one tab 2, just for the sake of explaining this. And I'll save that, exit. So you see I lost that gap there at the top. And then I've got 2 tabs on here now. But if I wanted this thing to be in the gap, I can move it up and then still have my 2 tabs below that. Let's change this icon to be a little bit smaller. Let's go. I'm going to go back to the auto setting. Display, just change this to auto and hit save. And there's that prompt again. I thought I usually remembered that I did that, and we'll just exit editing mode. And there you go. You can see I've got the gap at the top. I can collapse it, and then I've got my 2 tabs down below. So that's a kind of critical, um, a critical, not critical. What am I trying to say? That's an important feature that sets these new dashboards apart from what we were able to do before. All right, I got some more messages here. Some greetings to Phil. Just as much as Justin is. Thanks, Justin. Great. See more about the platform analytics and your workflow. I've messed up a bit with tabs and filters. Yeah. You know what's funny? You speak of that, Phil. There's this weird thing going on with so let me go down to I noticed this um before. I'm kind of giving a sneak preview of something I was working on. When I was creating my data visualizations, there's a setting for them. So, okay, let me back up a little bit. I know I'm kind of being sporadic here. I've got a filter on this particular dashboard. If you've seen an SSH episode, you've seen me use this dashboard. So I got a filter to filter by the episode that I'm covering. And so um, this particular data visualization that's shown on the screen is following the filter. And you can see that with this one here, right? But I did not configure it to follow the filter. In fact, I come in here and I actually say on data update, I'll uncheck follow that filter. Okay, you just saw me do that. If I hit save, it will reload and it'll check that box to follow the filter automatically. I don't know why it does it. I better do it live while I'm looking at it. Let's just see here. Okay, let me move off of it. We'll go to a different data visualization and I'll come back to it. It's the loading of these settings over here on the right. What did I do? I just did something I didn't want to do. Okay, exit out of here. Discard changes. I don't want to mess up my dashboard there. This is the trouble with using your own stuff on a live demo. There it is again. So it just put it back. It put that filter back, and it's driving me crazy. I don't know why that I have to do this every single time. If I save it and get off of it, I'm okay. So let's move to the new releases this year. So I'm going to move my focus on the screen from apps covered this year to new releases this year. So just going to click on it. The data visualization settings are going to load there on the right, and notice it added a filter. It's just the craziest thing. I'll uncheck it. I'll move to this one, and it'll add the filter back. Just watch. As it loads up that configuration, it puts the filter back. Drives me absolutely nuts. So I don't know if that was your issue, Phil, when you were working on there. Yeah, scopes is another issue too. Like if you're, and I mentioned that at the start of the live stream, you're the way that I'm able to actually create these and get it back is they're all stored in my application. But you can create these in different scopes, and that can get a bit gnarly, right? Because, and this is a great example. We're looking at a dashboard about ServiceNow store highlights, which is its own application in my PDI. But my dashboard is in my Justin's House application, which you can see I've got selected here. But if I go to ServiceNow store updates, not highlights, ServiceNow store updates, that's its own scoped application. So it does get a little confusing. And what I chose to do, Phil, is I left my dashboard in my Justin's House scope, and then I created all these widgets in that scope, but they're pulling data from a different application scope. So yeah, it can get confusing. Let's see. Got confirmation from Kevin about maintaining the proper scope. Um, is this best to, Jerry asks, is this best to configure performance analytics reports in the post-product instances? I don't quite understand the question, Jerry. Sorry. Is it best to configure performance analytics reports in the post-product instances? Can you ask that a little bit differently? I don't know what you mean by that post-product instances. Is it meant to say post-prod instances? And rephrase that one might be, what are you talking about, configuring them in sub-production and then promoting them to production? Let me know if that's your question. Phil says, I have found some situations with the client side, but check the JSON backend records. Sometimes you have to hack the data directly. Oh my God, I haven't done that yet, Phil. I haven't gone back into the backend stuff. I've been trying to take the time to learn the backend stuff, and so I've watched all the UI Builder. If you guys didn't know, all of this stuff is built in UI Builder. We're actually in a UI Builder-ish experience at the moment. But if you've been in UI Builder, you know you put things on the canvas and you have these settings over here on the right to configure. So I have not gone and changed anything on the back end. There was one. Um, there was a there's a training lab that Brad Tilton had put together maybe a year or two ago, and part of the instructions in that was to put the stuff on UI Builder, and then it was like, go put this JSON in. I remember doing that, so I technically have done it before. I didn't like it. Check the update set for a global record. Sometimes it leaks. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Jerry confirmed, yes, post-production instances, i.e. dev and test instances. So it's a great question. I'll say this, there was some improvements in Xanadu with loading and unloading these dashboards and data visualizations to update sets. So I'm always a fan of, not a fan, I advocate for doing things in sub production and promoting them to production is the best practice, right? Configuring live in production is typically not a best practice for a ServiceNow admin. But with reporting, we know that these can be these reports, these data visualizations can be done by our regular users, right? So they're going to be doing it in production. So sometimes the only way to get those data visualizations into your subprod instances is to clone back down until you can see them. So while the best practice, Jerry, from my point of view, is to do them in subprod, dev or test, and promote them up. With reporting, it's a little bit more looser, and that you do stuff in production that you might not necessarily do in a test environment or a dev environment. Okay, so Phil, I'll do it. I'll do it live, Phil. I don't care. So he's saying if you go to the update set, in for that, you can kind of see what the how those data visualizations are stored in the update set, and you can see the backend side of things. So let's just look here. There's a canvas, there's a dashboard widget, so we can look at on the update set. There's the XML that Phil is talking about for this particular dashboard widget. It's got a sys so I don't know exactly which one it is. In fact, the name might be buried in here somewhere. Um, Interesting. This is XML though, not JSON like you were talking about. There's my application name. Just not seeing the name of the visualization or the header. Maybe the header? I'm just scrolling to see if I see anything that jumps out at me so I know which one this is. Yeah, I don't. I don't know which one this is. You go scary places, Phil. Um, you said not to do it live, and I did it anyways. But yeah, I don't mind. It's fun. So that I wasn't planning on showing that, but that's kind of how this all works behind the scenes. Is that they're you're this is all the metadata that kind of creates the user experience in the dashboard or in the platform analytics. So all right, let's get back to this example that we're doing here. I'm going to get back to my gap there, and I've got, wow, just 12 minutes left. So I did want to cover a couple other things. These dashboards have other capabilities too. So if you wanted to do things like put some free text on there so people know what they're looking at, there's a little plug for ServiceNow. Those are some elements you can add. Filters. You can add filters to your dashboard, and then you can save those filters to be reused in a library. We'll not mess with filters right now. If you wanted an image, you can see that I put an image there. And then if you wanted, let's see, process mining, I'm not going to get into process mining, but rich text. If I wanted to like maybe put some instructions or something like that. The way I've used this for myself, I'll go back to my instance right here, is in my application updater, which I showed in a previous live stream on the dashboard, which is also using performance analytics. I use the rich text over here to link to catalog items. So these are catalog items that go out and look for updates that might be available for my instance. And so I can get to them there. That's where I've used rich text in the past in my endeavors in messing around with this. So let's see. No, thanks, Phil. Appreciate that. Um, some of the canvas has JSON, but check the app scope. Sometimes it brings a global file. Interesting. So they're talking about the dashboard canvas, I guess. Um, yeah. So I get what you're saying. So your data visualization, your widget might be stored in scope, but then something else is stored in global scope, and you have to kind of tidy it up. That sounds like a pain in the butt. I almost said the A word on a live stream. I don't want to be marked as a swearing on a live stream. So yeah, that'd be a pain. That'd be very frustrating. And what's funny for me, like you saw there in my PDI, I'm not really promoting, from test or dev, but in what Phil's talking about, if you are, that's going to be an issue because you need to get that stuff in all together in the update set to bring it up to where it should be. So all right, so there's some different things we've thrown on the canvas there, and that picture is horrible. It's linking to service. Oh, it's got a placeholder picture. Do I have any pictures? I actually have some. Oh wait, there's browse. Let's put a better picture up there of this thing. I don't even know what it is. Okay, yeah, so mobile phone screenshot. That looks a little bit better. All right, so we'll save this, see what that looks like, right? Really easy to do, really easy to configure. Um, let's go ahead and add another data visualization, and we'll do a new visualization, puts it down. Now it finds a spot on the canvas and puts it there. And sometimes working around in this canvas can get a little bit wonky. I'm just gonna tidy up some things here so I can have more space in here. So it'll put it there, but you can totally adjust all this stuff. So I can make this longer, make it shorter, move this around on the canvas. This is the one that we're adding. Again, I'll just emphasize this is the way that I actually create my reports as I go to the tab or go to the dashboard, add a data visualization. Let's choose something else. Let's choose a dial, um, and then we'll add a data source to it. We'll stick with incidents, and I won't apply any filters as this one. With the dial, we would need to configure um, what the range is, right? So right now there's 83 unfiltered incidents, and it defaults it to 0 and 100. But maybe for my particular process, I would want a different range, right? So let's just go into the display settings here. So I've got a 0 as a minimum value, and it says 100, but I notice it's not configured here on the right hand side. So let's just say 50. We're going to put that at 50. So there I can see a range of 0 to 50, and the actual score is 83. Probably a bad example. 200. There's 200. Here's 500, right? So you can get pretty creative. You can change all the colors for that. All the settings that we just walked through before you can do for that data visualization. So got some more comments here. Yeah, Kevin, I'm glad you brought that up. So Kevin says he loves seeing the issues happening that mess up, and then how the resolutions are found to solve the issue. It's a great learning experience for everyone, and I agree 100%, Kevin. It's really tempting when you can't do it on the live stream, but when you're creating a video to put on YouTube, it's tempting to say like, well, let me just cut that part out so it looks smooth and everything. I purposely leave all that stuff in because I want people to see that it doesn't go smoothly. Even when you practice it, sometimes it does not go smoothly. So I agree. It is helpful to see the errors. How are we doing on time? I got 7 whole minutes left. I didn't get through as much as I wanted to. Um, the different ones here, let's just choose something different. Let's choose a line graph. I just changed it to a line graph. I didn't. So you can do that. They're speaking of messing up, Kevin. I just did. You can actually change the type of visualization you're seeing. So this is a single score. If I wanted to make it, something else, I could do that really simply. This one we just did live. We changed the incident to a line graph, but it's not sure what exactly I'm trying to do. So it's counting the number of incidents and it defaulted to these dates there on the bottom. But luckily we can get into how is that trended, right, for this particular one. So I can get into settings and say, yeah, it is by date, but we're going to do it by created date instead of activity due date. Where's created date here? I'll scroll down, I'm sorry, created, apply. And now I should get an actual line graph there. Let's just move this down and see if this looks better this way. Looks more like a bar graph, doesn't it? What is this? Oh, let's try that again here. Yeah, it looks more like it says line. I'm expecting a line. I'm not expecting what I'm seeing here. It's almost like a column chart. So there you go again, Kevin. Something else is doing something it's not supposed to do. It's not supposed to look like that for a line chart because I have line charts in my. You can see them in my dashboard that I was showing earlier for SSH. Justin's house. I have line charts or news.js.pro. You can see some line charts here. That's what a line chart should look like, just like that. So I don't know why ours is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Kind of looks, unless it's like a really, I don't know, it'd be a weird line if that was a line. But anyways, we'll click back on there. Line charts are an option. Scatter charts are another option. Let's see what that looks like. That looks more appropriate. I'm trying to get this other thing behind my head and out of the way. Okay. So there is a scatter chart showing the different data points on there. Let's change it to something else. Spline. I was a big fan of spline charts until some data analyst told me I was using it improperly. So now I kind of stay away from them. I like spline charts because it kind of it smooths out the lines if the lines were showing. For some reason they're not. Probably something I've got configured wrong. And then horizontal bar charts on another platform or another data visualization. The configuration around this one, okay, it's picking stuff to do what I want. Let's just change this group by to assignment group, something to better look at here. List view for the win. We can do a list view. There's the I sometimes you just need a list. Sometimes you just need that list of records. I agree with you, Kevin. There was a list view here. If I scroll down, uh, list simple, and hopefully it keeps my data. Yeah, so there's no, it didn't. It just changed the data table on me. So now I've got to add in a filter here. It's this is something else that happened to me when I was working on another data visualization where I added the simple list, and you lose the data source capability for some reason. I'm not sure why. You can see it just happened. I was looking at incidents, and now I'm looking at the task table. So I would have to go to task type like this and say is incident, and then I would be back to my incident data source. I don't know why it does that on this simple list view. So I don't know if that's a win, Kevin, like you said, but I like the list view too. I especially like the list view because sometimes you just need to get in there and see something or change something. I just tried double clicking. I don't know if it actually edits. um, I think okay. So the word simple. It's actually good you bring that up, Kevin. Why did they put the word simple in front of that? You didn't ask that. So Kevin said I should repeat what he said. That is hilarious that they added the word simple to the end of the report type. So if we look up here, it's list simple. Notice there's no list complex or list complicated. There's just list simple. And I think, I'm speculating, Kevin, that they're making a distinction between this list view and something else like you'd see in a workspace list. If I go to this list of assets, notice like the functionality here, Kevin, on the right, where I can refresh and change settings and modify the columns and export, depending on the list you're looking at, it would be different. I think that's the distinction that they're making with it being a simple list. Got a question here from Jerry. Can we make these dashboards with data visualization available to users, i.e., business stakeholders without relevant roles to view? And can we make this to be public viewing if required? So the answer, Jerry, is no. My understanding, and I'm not officially representing ServiceNow, just to clarify, is that they must be licensed to view these. These don't show up on the portal. This is all in platform. So they need to be a stakeholder. They need to be otherwise licensed. And in order to edit, they actually need to be they need to have permission to come in and create reports and edit. There's some rules specific to platform analytics. The workaround, and I did want to show this, and I'm glad you asked it because I'm going to remember now. If you go to the data visualizations themselves and get into um, the settings. Let's see, I had that open incident single score. When I'm in here, I can actually, and I wish this was elsewhere, but if you look in the upper right, I can export a data visualization and then put it in a PowerPoint or something and share it with somebody. But yeah, there's no way to get an unlicensed user to come in here and see that. So sorry about that. I didn't make ServiceNow. I didn't license ServiceNow. But yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, Kevin is correct. Yeah, you have to be licensed. Um, the portal experience, this is probably a big debate. I don't know when portal is going to move away from what it is to the next experience. You can kind of see they're headed that direction, but they're not ready yet. In fact, they say don't try to create stuff for portal experiences using UI Builder, but that would be the way to expose that, Jerry, to end users, and there's no way to do that right now. So this is all internal. You can export it, and when you do that, it will so we'll make a change. We can put it in a PDF, a PNG file, a JPEG file. I don't know what an embed PNG file is. Oh, it's asking me to send an email, so I can send it via email. I didn't know this feature existed. That's pretty cool. Add some users. It's not going to send from my PDI, but if you were in a real instance, it probably would. And then you can export that, and you can schedule these too. So I don't know if you saw that on the dropdown. I can schedule that export to actually happen at a certain time. So those would be two workarounds, Jerry, to what you were saying. So Yeah, I agree. Definitely a good workaround. And I'm out of time. I can't believe it's 2 p.m. Eastern already. Um, I definitely did not cover everything that I wanted to cover, but I appreciate everyone who came, and I appreciate the support. Happy New Year to everybody. If you want to see more, I'm doing this every Wednesday, even on holidays like today at 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UTC. Um, the way to find me is on YouTube at Justin Meadows. I have a blog, justin.house. If you just type that into your web browser, all of my video posts have a companion blog post. You can find me there. I'm on LinkedIn, where some of you are watching right now. So I appreciate that. Appreciate your support. And I'll be back here next Wednesday. And I definitely have more to cover on platform analytics. So you might see this topic come back up again. But appreciate everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks for participating because it makes it so much better when I'm not talking to myself. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.